So the way you load fonts is in a different program. This might be changing soon though, because we're getting a new program. But that's how you do it now.
It'll be the same for editorial.
Oh, okay. So you go to Adobe and then Adobe Type Manager, and you open that, and there's a tab here called Add Fonts. So then you find your book folder in Chamber, because the artist should save the fonts in the book folder for you. If they're not there, ask them. So in my instance, it's in a different place. And then there should be a folder called Fonts. So you open that, and you want to select them all. You can either click them one by one or do Control A. It's a little bit quicker. And then over here you want to add them. So I find it's easy if you create a set for each book you're working on, just so you can keep them organized. So we'll call this InCopy class set. And you want to make sure this box is checked to activate it, otherwise the fonts will copy but they won't be turned on, so you won't be able to use them. So I have my set selected and all my fonts, and I just click add, and if you double click in here now, you can see they're all added. So now we have these fonts, so now you're good to go. Alright, so back to the styles. Apparently this computer doesn't have these two fonts I was trying to use. Even though I packaged them. It's weird. Okay, so we've seen how we can apply a paragraph style. So we call this body. And we've seen how to apply a character style. So if you needed to bold something or italicize something, and this applies in listings too. I know sometimes you guys have to make something italic, like if they're Best Golf Digest or whatever. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, now I want to talk about seeing how a story fits a layout. So in this one, it obviously all fits because the story's already been edited and printed. But say we had too much copy here. You see this little plus icon down here? That means that there's more copy farther than the frame goes. And also, if you look down here, this is called the CopyFit toolbar. It says it's over now by 320 lines because I copied the whole story. So how do I see this copy? Of course, you can't see it in the layout view. So go to the galley view, and now you see this is where the text frame ends, and now everything else where the red is will say either CopyFit or Overset, depending on how your settings are set up. And you see that all this copy is overset now. So, an editor will go through or whatever and trim it, or tell us we have to change the design. But so you can see, so if you ever see a plus in something, that means that there's more copy than fits the design or the frame. So you should go look in the galley view to see what it is and fix it. Or, talk to the artist and say you need to work out the design or whatever. Okay. Now, if you see, I've deleted all that copy, and now it's changed back to green to show you that everything fits and you're good to go. Now, if you ever come across something where there's a piece of text you need to get at, but it's grayed out, for instance, like you can see this folio you can't get at, maybe you had to change the folio or something, you just have to ask the artist to add that to the assignment so that you can edit it. And please ask us, because we would much rather have you do the text changes than us do it and maybe goof it up. Okay, so that is InCopy. So now I've gone through and made all my changes and I'm all done. So there's one more step before you close the file. You go back to assignments and you check everything in. And it'll give you this warning message to say if you check everything in, you can't reverse your changes, which that's what you want. And if you don't want to see this every time, just check the don't show again box and you'll never be bothered by it again. So now you see everything's checked back in, and now you can just close the file. So now when the artist goes to InDesign and open it, they'll get a message that says it's been updated, and so we can see that you've changed it. So now let's look at some listings in grid examples. It's the same workflow. You'll go to assignment, you'll add your fonts first, and then you'll go to the assignments folder and you'll open whatever listing you're looking at. So I've made one of golf today. And unfortunately, there's not a way to make it open to galley or layout view on open. Oh wait, yes there is, I'm sorry. If you close all your documents and you just have the empty InCopy and you go to view, you can change it to what you want it to open to first. So you can either pick layout or galley view. So we'll do layout. So go back to the assignment, and on this file, when it opens, so we'll make this fast display because I'm on a slow computer and I want to be able to just work quick, so I can see all the things I need. We've got a grid, and then we also have a listing down here. So first, let's look at how the grid is set up. So we'll check out everything, which is right here. You can close that panel. One other thing I wanted to mention, if you guys find it's like tedious to have to keep opening and closing panels and move them around, you can pull these away from here. If you just grab it and pull it, you can have it be freestanding and you can put it wherever you want. So if you never use character styles, for instance, but are always using paragraph styles, maybe you want to have that pulled out so it's easy to look at. So we'll leave this pulled out for now. So hopefully when you open your file, the paragraph styles will be organized nice and neat like this, but maybe not. So let's zoom in a little using Control Plus again, and so now we can see. So you know you're ready to just, if you need to type changes or whatever you need to type. Maybe it's not golf training, maybe it's just golf center or something. And so we've got the listing. Now one thing I want to talk about now are those hidden characters, which in this instance are these green ones that you can barely see. Let me see if I can zoom in. So like for instance, this is a tab character, and if you don't see these hidden characters, you go under the type menu. Right now they're shown, so the toggle says to hide them, but if it looks like this and you can't see the hidden characters, you'll want to go up here to type and show them. And the reason this is important is because, especially in listings and grids, we use a lot of hidden characters to do the spacing, and you guys don't want to accidentally delete one. Like if I delete this tab here, then it messes up the alignment for the whole row. So the reason you want to leave those, but say I need to change this P to a T or whatever, I can move in between the hidden characters and not accidentally delete them. So it's good to always leave those turned on. And if they're bothering you, you can turn them off, but I recommend you leave them on. So let's say in this one we need to add a listing, and it's a non-highlighted listing. So what we want to do is click where the title is, the first line of the listing, and push the home key, because that will move you to the absolute front of the paragraph, so you make sure not to miss any characters. Now if you hold down shift and the down arrow, it'll start selecting the lines for you. Now I recommend this because now you've got all the text and you've gotten the hidden characters that you need to make sure you have the proper spacing. If I just selected with my mouse, I might miss a character. Like see, I'm missing that paragraph mark there, and then when you go to paste it in, it's gonna goof up your spacing. So you just copy and paste, just like in Word, Control C, Control V. So I can copy it, and now I'm gonna move my arrow to the right once, because it moves it to the next line, and hit paste. So now I've got my new listing in here, and you can go through and you can type in all your new stuff. One trick of moving around when you're zoomed in this much is if you hold down the Alt key, you see my cursor changes to a hand now, and I can move around. So if you're over here and now you need to go see the grids, you hold down Alt and it'll let you move around.